This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. The robot! That's right. Hey, you could almost see blue there for a minute.
American Family Insurance is returning $425 million to our customers.
Yeah, so it's been a long day today. Left the house at like 10. Wait. No, 9:20. Got up there a little early. Can you guys hear? Yeah, I can't hear myself. Got up there a little early. Drove around. You know, Seattle's traffic is so ludicrous. I got an ice bag back here. Seattle's traffic is so... It's almost like they should be more ashamed about their traffic than any of the other stuff that goes on there. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. But everybody's nice, though. That's one of the things that was pretty cool. Other than one driver who pulled right out in front of me, and then I went, what are you doing? And he flipped me off, you know. But it's just there's no rhyme or reason for their traffic signs. Like it'll say highway I-55 this way and I-55 that way, and it's the same south direction. But one's like a lane that if you have two people in your car, but it doesn't say that. It just... Anyways, I had before I could go into the hospital, I had to get the coronavirus swab thing to the nose. you know, when, I don't know if you guys remember the early press conferences with Trump when he would talk about it and go, not pleasant, not good, not good. You know, and that wasn't fake news, everybody. That was real shit. I mean, what they do is they take the swab and then they push it down, and it's not even good for that either, though, Cairo. The whole city blows for traffic. You just don't. Basically, you wouldn't want to live there. So the thing is what it is you got these swabs, and they don't go like up that direction. They go down into your. It's just God. It goes down into your nasal cavity, and they rotate it around, so it's just it doesn't hurt a lot. It's just so uncomfortable. Okay, so they push it down that direction, so it goes into that nasal cavity that's like back in here somewhere, and they rotate it around for 10 seconds, and they do it in each nostril. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so you know, if you have to take it, you have to take it, but it's not fun. All right. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it just feels weird with a slight pain to it. I definitely could breathe a little bit better after they did it. That's for sure. That's weird. You must have something wrong with your nose to get a nosebleed off of that. Yeah, it was like it almost like poked a hole through something. It was kind of weird. So yeah, and then I had to go in there and I had to get the I had to get blood tests. I had to get I spoke with the anesthesiologist person. You know, it just kind of sucks when they give you the these are the things that could go wrong. You know, it's not likely at all, but you know, there's only 1% chance that you'll, you know, it's like, oh shit, why would I get a chest X-ray? Jesus. Anyways, they were doing so we're, you know, I guess everything is okay. I'll be going in there on Monday morning. Except now it's 6 in the morning is the surgery, which I think is pretty good. They said that most people almost immediately they don't feel the pain anymore in their arm and that kind of thing. So, and this guy's really one of the best, so. Yeah. See, another thing, sort of to say what Cairo was saying above is, you know, Portland tries to do that too. They try to force mass transit on people, and when they force it on people, they make the driving so unbearable that they want to force people to not drive their own vehicles anymore. It's just stupid shit, you know. Oh, another thought I had was on don't pronounce it wrong, everybody. Kamala Harris. Okay, it's comma, like the comma, and then La Harris. You know, the woman who said that Joe Biden, she believes the rapist in the Biden case, believes that Biden's a racist. That same person, all of a sudden now, is just so beloved by everybody. It's just the person who couldn't get shit done during the primary. Okay, but the funny thing is on CNN had like literally 5 different hosts slam Tucker Carlson because he said Kamala. Like, really, you guys are that crazy right now that if somebody says Kamala, everybody said Kamala before. That's what everybody said. So it's like, he said Kamala, and then CNN kept attacking him. And you know what's hilarious? Then Tucker then pulled out a clip from Biden introducing Kamala Harris as the VP, and he says Kamala. But of course, CNN didn't attack good old Biden when he said it, though. It was okay when he said it. It's just the early onset dementia. Don't worry about it. It's ridiculous. Okay, you know, that's the part that's really bothersome is the absolute abject hypocrisy of the media. Unbelievable. And they just they know it too. They just go home chuckling to themselves. Yeah. And by the way, we're almost still on track this month for last month, for the end of the month thing. I was just noticing that, well, it depends on tonight and tomorrow, but we'll be right, if we do it, if it's normal, it'll be right on the halfway point of last month, which would be sweet. Let's see. Yeah, it's just the way they're setting it up right now is you will not be able to attack Kamala at all, or you'll be called a racist or something like that. So it's just a classic tactic. And you know, here's something even funnier. When Biden and Kamala were doing, I did get a haircut yesterday, but thanks. They did their little speech, right? And then the reporters were yelling out questions to him. They were like, "Hey, can you?" And they wouldn't answer.
Did you get a haircut? Looks good.
Well, thanks, man. And Biden wouldn't answer any questions. Harris answered one as she stumbled out the door. But you know what CNN said? Or was it MSNBC? They said, "Wow, look at Biden practicing his restraint not to answer questions."
I'm still laughing at the "I can breathe better" statement.
Oh, God.
Open mouth smile.
Like, imagine if Trump never answered any questions. Do you think they would say, "Wow, he's exercising such great restraint"? I can breathe better. Well, it's true, though. It poked a hole in it, Juju Positive. It worked. Well, that's good for you, Karen. I'm glad for you. I'm glad you're going to vote for a guy that's senile over Trump. That's good for you. I don't mind if you vote for him. You can do whatever the hell you want. Just shows, wow. A guy that literally has dementia, early onset dementia, and it's not even a controversy. It's obvious. Yeah, and you can vote for whatever the hell you want. I'm just letting you know what I'm seeing and the hypocrisy of all of it. And if you don't see it, that just means you don't want to see it. Okay, for example, an FBI agent who changed an email for the warrants in one of the people that they investigated under Trump, he had to plead guilty today. Okay, but you won't see that on CNN or MSNBC because it doesn't fit in to what they want you all to hear about. Okay, it's actually scary to me. Okay, it's scary shit that the media is so blatant like that. It's almost like Joseph Goebbels would be like, "Yeah, this is awesome." Yeah, the libertarian's never going to win, Cairo. It'll take a libertarian that everybody likes already and then claims they're a libertarian. The people that keep running for libertarians are idiots. I mean, just they're unelectable clowns. Okay, get somebody that's just a good person that literally makes sense. That's a libertarian. Yeah. Oh, I know he's scared. Here's the thing: Trump scares the hell out of people who watch CNN and MSNBC and believe the stuff that they say on those channels. He doesn't scare me at all. I just, he made the economy great. He just had a peace deal with United Arab Emirates, with Israel. He's done a ton of things that worked. Okay? You might not like him, and I understand why you don't like the guy. I've said that 100 times. But he doesn't scare me at all.
Argumentative love, Mary Lou and her number one boy, John.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Billy Boy Blue. Could be Biden's. Yeah. Well, no, they got Kamala in there because she is going to be the president in probably a year, in my opinion. Anyways, I just want people to notice the hypocrisy of the media. That's all I care about. If you can be honest about that, then we're good.
Are we completely sure the Democrats didn't just hire Kamala Harris to be Biden's personal psychiatric care manager?
It could be. I mean, just listen to Biden talk. He can't pronounce words anymore. He used to be able to. Just simple words in a sentence, he slurs them in there, and then he literally can't remember almost anything. So it's scary that people would actually, even though they don't want to vote for him, will vote for him because they hate Trump so much. Thanks, Christina Kubacek.
Chloe for president, thumbs up, medium.
That's right, like somebody like Chloe. Why couldn't Chloe be president?
Light skin tone, thumbs up, medium, light skin tone.
Yeah. I never saw that one, Jake, but Jake from State Farm. Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to bring that one up. See, here's the thing. Now, let me ask you guys this. Here's a story. Right here. Hold on a second. Let me get this one open here. Yeah, this 5-year-old was shot and killed while outside on a bike. 25-year-old charged with a murder. Cannon Hinnant was reportedly just outside sitting on his bicycle when a man walked up to the 5-year-old and shot him.
This includes a 10%
I don't think
savings
that's
for
the
all.
story there. I think it's down here. Right here.
American Family Insurance is returning $425 million to our customers. This includes a 10%.
I'm going to have to let it play. Hold on one second.
Contact your about more with.
Okay, yeah, American Family.
This afternoon, confirmed by Wilson Police. Not many details available yet, but here's what we know. Wilson PD and members of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force arrested Darius Simmons. He's charged with the murder of 5-year-old Cannon Hinnant. It happened late Sunday evening near the boy's home on Archers Road in Wilson. Police say a gunshot wounded the boy, who died later at Wilson Medical Center. His neighbors across the street remember a happy child who visited often. But yesterday, while eating dinner, they heard a shot, called 911, then heard a father's anguished cries. They tell us he stood on their porch with the child in his arms, bleeding from a head wound after the gunman took off.
Our neighbor saw it. She said the young man just walked up to the little boy who was sitting on his bike. I just don't understand why he did it. How can you walk up to a little boy point blank and put a gun to his head and just shoot him? How can anyone do that?
Wilson Police say they will release more details about the arrest later. Reporting from Wilson. Anthony
You just
Wilson.
won't see it on CNN. Okay, and the reason you won't see it on CNN is because the shooter is a person of color. Okay, the shooter is a person of color, and he killed a white boy sitting on a bike, and that won't be covered because it doesn't fit the correct narrative in the the correct order. Okay, if it was in complete reverse of that, it would be covered 24/7 on 95 different channels, and they try to figure out a race angle of it. Okay, and that's the kind of hypocrisy I can't stand in the media. Do you guys see that at all? I just want to know, does anybody see what I just was talking about? And do you agree that if it was completely reversed there, that you would see that on the news? Okay? Because you would.
Customers for the rest of the year. We hope world some good.
I want to see if this is the same. It's a different video at the top.
Yeah, that's right, Steve and Tisha. A devastating story here in the Wilson community. You can see behind me right now a large gathering of people filling up this funeral home parking lot for this funeral service that we're less than an hour away from at this time. The families asked the media to kind of keep their distance right now as they mourn, and so we are doing so by being across the street at this point in time. But we had the chance to talk on the phone with Cannon's stepfather, Lee Parker. You could hear the pain and disbelief in his voice. He tells me that his 5-year-old stepson was set to start kindergarten this week. Wilson police say Cannon was shot and killed on Sunday evening. Nearby neighbors telling us it happened while he was riding his bike around his home, like you two had mentioned. 25-year-old Darius Sessoms is in jail facing a first-degree murder charge. The young boy's death garnering that nationwide attention. The family seeing an outpouring of prayers and support from this community and others. Now, again, tragic time for this family. You just can't really imagine what they're going through right now at this point. Again, this funeral service is less than an hour away at this time. They've been asking for privacy as they mourn and really process what's going on this evening. They're also planning to have their own vigil at some point in the near future. I'm in Wilson, Michael Lozano, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
And what a nightmare. Just a little kid playing on his bike, and a guy walks up, point blank, shoots him right in the head for absolutely no reason. Okay? But all I can tell you is there's no doubt that if the situation was reversed racially, it would be covered on CNN, MSNBC, 24/7, and they would assign the shooting as a race motive. I don't know if this case is that, but I can just tell you that that's just the way it is, and I think it's disgusting how the media is. And just, God, it drives me crazy. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I just want everything to be reported fairly and honestly, regardless of what party you're in. And it's not like that anymore. It's just everybody does whatever works politically. Okay, so now I'm going to go move to another case here. Oh yeah, Marilyn Carter. There's an update in this one. And thanks for Jules for sending me some of these updates here.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Ah, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear you mumble one more time. All right. Hold on. You know, I was walking down the street, and I had to stop. Turned up the radio and dropped the top. It looks so good. It looks so fine. Oh, wait, that was too short. Never mind.
Gas station near West Memphis, Arkansas, August 2nd. Overland Park detectives say she got water and gas before taking off. It's the last confirmed sighting of her.
There's nothing that we've seen in the video that's suspicious.
So that was another video. It's hard to see it, though.
Marilyn Carter at a gas
God, that's so
station near
low.
West Memphis, Arkansas.
Oh, that's why.
Overland Park detectives
Okay, let me
say
start
she
that
got
over.
water.
There we go.
New video shows Marilyn Carter at a gas station near West Memphis, Arkansas, August 2nd. Overland Park detectives say
August
she got
2nd.
water and gas before taking off. It's the last confirmed sighting of her.
There's nothing that we've seen in the video that's suspicious. It doesn't look like she's having any kind of crisis.
Detective Larson says they're trying everything from tracking her credit card purchases, which linked her to a hotel in West Plains, Missouri earlier that day, to analyzing phone records and scanning traffic cameras.
It goes cold. I mean, we truly are like looking and doing everything we can.
Hey, let me just tell this: if you're on this channel and you vote for Biden, you're still welcome on the channel and watch, you know, and hang out. And I won't think anything differently of you. I think you're a little nuts, but you know, I don't have any problem with that kind of stuff at all. I'm just letting you know what I think about stuff because I can. You know, that's a thing. And if you don't like it, that's great. But you know, I have learned that a lot of people on the left hate if you don't agree with them, and they unfriend you, block you, unsubscribe. They do all that kind of stuff if you don't agree with them. Okay, and I that to me is disturbing. It's very disturbing. It shouldn't matter to you. It doesn't mean that they're dumb. It doesn't mean any of that kind of stuff. It just means they don't agree with what you agree with. But that being said, Biden does have early onset dementia. If not, he's in the middle of it. There's no doubt about it.
We can, but we just haven't had anything else
In my
that
opinion.
time period.
When roadblocked, some phone records are not accessible to police in missing persons cases.
We can only get a search warrant for that kind of information for criminal activity. And at this time, there's no reason to believe that any criminal activity is
I don't
afoot
agree. I don't believe
or
that, Robin.
anything
I don't
nefarious
believe
has happened.
This week, search
Well, here's the
efforts
thing.
are focused on the
Hey, Robin,
Mississippi-
I can believe people would block somebody on the left because of the way how they talk to somebody who doesn't agree with them. They sound like just really self-righteous. Like, how dare you? I just go by like the logical facts of it. I mean, a guy can't even put a sentence together, and yet he's running for president. It's crazy.
Mississippi River, around the area where her cell phone last pinged a tower. Volunteers are helping Marilyn's family look for her, holding on to hope that she'll return
Like moral
home safe.
If we
superiority.
keep getting good
Yeah.
tips, we'll keep working them. But at this point, the tips we've gotten haven't panned out.
Yeah.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your...
So I think it's starting to look like maybe she just left. Unless her car just flung off a bridge right after that. Doesn't it just seem like she was doing okay? Everything was fine? Yeah, hey, Lynette, you and I don't come in here and do your politics stuff because you and I don't agree. You always turn it into an email bash session, so I'm not really interested in it. I'm not interested in your opinion on politics. If you want to talk about crime, that's great. Everyone else seems to have reasonable conversations. Okay? Good. Let's see. Yeah, well, do you think she did it on purpose? Drove off the bridge? Even though she just looked like she was calm and everything like that? Well, somebody says on the last call, the husband said she was driving down a dirt road, but I couldn't find that one. Yeah. Update on Valo. Was there an update on Valo? It just seems like it's just little tiny little things here and there. Not really. No, they didn't. They didn't find her. What part did you think was a joke? I missed it. Oh. Oh, the update on Valo. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'll type it in. Update on Valo. And if I come up with something, I'll let you know. I don't see any. I typed in update on Valo. Oh, yeah, that's not gonna, it's not coming up with anything. I don't think she has anything to do with trafficking. I would think maybe the other case does. You know, the case of, what the hell's her name? Oh, it's way down there on my list. Yeah, Layla. It's weird, I can't find the name in my Google Earth anymore. I think it's possible in that case that it's human trafficking. Because she looks pretty, you know, so you could see these people wanting, she's young, wanting to get her, but didn't want the child as a another, like a casualty, so they dump the child out and abduct her. What do you think of that? I mean, I'm not a big human trafficking, like, it happens all the time, but sometimes that exists even sort of in a lesser, like, they don't ship them off to another country or anything. Yeah, I mean, it could have been somebody she met online, too. Yeah, like pimps type of thing. Yeah, right. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, and it could just be that like somebody met her online but had nefarious intentions to do that or just killed her. But the whole thing that's interesting is that the child being found wandering on the street is what makes that case a little confusing and, you know, leads to a nefarious intentions of somebody. I don't think lay. What does that mean? Sorry, I don't think lay. I don't get it. Why are they never in sync, Renee? See, that's like the whole, well, you look nice tonight. Tonight? What about all the other nights? Right. Or even like if she was being, trafficked in a different type of way. It seems like a killer might have killed the child. But they just didn't want that person involved. And it sounds like most of the family don't think that she is would leave her child like that. That's what most of them seem to say. Yeah, so if you remember the Cracker Barrel, she was seen on July 24th. And then, wow, thanks, Allison R. Yeah, let me see if I flip it over to the different screen. Maybe it'll make a sound. Let's see. Oh, there's your generous freaks. There you go. Oh, 1 penny short of a cat eye. Well, thank you. What happened to Allison? What do you say, Allison? Sorry, what happened? Okay, so remember, she was at this Cracker Barrel on the 24th. Then her car, she drove all the way down here, actually. And then on the 25th, she was seen at 3 o'clock and 10:20 here at this racetrack gas station. And on the 10:20 one, she's in the store with her kid. And at the 3 p.m. sighting, she's getting into like a Lexus or something, or standing by the open door of a Lexus. Then her truck was found in this parking lot 3 days later, but I think it was there all 3 of those days. And then because on the 26th, the day after she was at Racetrack Gas, her child is walking around on the street right in front of this apartment complex here, or hotel, or whatever the hell it is. Okay, so, but then her car was found on the 28th in this parking lot, and I don't think it ever left there. I think her car was there since the 25th. So there you go. Oh, and one more. I'll say one thing about Trump that I don't like, by the way. I'll just say it right now. Is like when he does the conspiracy shit. Like somebody tweeted out, hey, Kamala isn't qualified to run for president. Her parent, some bullshit about where she was born. And it's just total bullshit, right? And then when he does a retweet of that crap, he just looks so stupid. What he should have done was done the high road and said, yeah, that's complete crap. And that would make it such a way better difference in people's minds. So anyways, so you got to say stuff like that too. Everyone just be honest about what you're seeing. Okay, yeah, so the kid was just found, he's just wandering around here. I think whoever took her didn't want to have the kid on their conscience as well, or kill them. So they just dumped the kid on the road right there, and I think they headed off down south, because if you look at the general direction from here to where the kid is south, and they probably went down into like Miami somewhere, where there's million people living, millions of people. I mean, look at this. Look how densely populated this city is. It is literally, from the show Weeds, little boxes, da-da-da-da. I mean, this is a ridiculous... I could never live in a place like this. Who are you when you live here? Are you kidding me? You're just a number on a street. Okay? So it's a little bit like LA, all right? Like, what if you lived in this segment right here? And you live right there? Oh, neat. Yay. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so she could be anywhere amongst these millions of people that live here. And who the hell knows what's going on? Okay? My thought is that she's down in the southern part of Florida, just based on where the child was found. I mean, unless that was an intentional head fake, right? I mean, just look at this. God. Could any of you guys actually live here? Seriously. Nah, well, I don't think Cuba. Maybe. I mean, yeah. I don't know where you come up with something like that, but sure, you know. I think she, well, my opinion is she's maybe in the Miami area. And that's just based on one fact, is that the kid was found south of where her, when she went to the Walmart and the gas station. So it's right here. So it seems like she was in a vehicle with her kid heading this direction. And the kid was dumped on the street there, and they headed off back, continuing on, or they put the kid there to make it look like they were going that way and headed north, and we would have no clue. All right? That's just my opinion based on that one fact. That's it. Well, thanks, Richard Watts. And Alifair N. Oh, God, yeah, I couldn't live in a place like that. I just imagine living, like, right there. Right? Okay, neat, yeah, yay. And then you just go, well, how do I get out of here? Where's the nearest store, by the way? I mean... But people choose to go down there for some reason. The sunshine. I like having all 4 seasons. I like having... spring, summer, winter, fall. I like having snow. I like having rain. I like having sunshine. I like, you know, I couldn't stand living somewhere where it was sunny every single day. Yep. Thank you, Dottie Caspian Horses Rock, with the pom-poms, too. Okay, I don't really have any more thoughts about Marilyn. That's it. Marilyn Cavett, I guess is how you'd say it. Don't want to pronounce it wrong. Don't say Kamala. Okay, it's Kamala. All right? Do not say it wrong, or you will be absolutely shunned and avoided. Yeah. No, don't do it. Don't do it, Zozo. Oh, God, she said Kamala. And it was weird because I was driving by a town called, what was it? Kalama today. And it's spelled, I think, exactly the same. Other than the L and the M are flipped. So then I thought, Calamity Harris? Forget it. Let's see. Yeah. But then there's a place called, Kalama, and I think her name's, well, that's her name. No, wait, no. It's Kalama, and then her name is Kamala. I think it has the same letters in it, unless there's a C in the front. I don't think so. I think hers is Kamala. So all the same letters are in Kalama. Juju. Bimala? That means like 2 molars, doesn't it? Chalmay. No. There's a place called Kalama, Washington. Kalama. Yeah, it's flotilla. Just say it right, damn it. Oh, do you guys want to hear something weird? I bet you didn't know this. You want to hear something crazy? I was talking to my brother today because I noticed something strange on my left hand. And you know, have you guys ever been swimming or had your hands in the water too long and you get like prune fingers? Like really bad? Have you ever done that? That crazy look of prune, it just, especially if you're a swimmer. I used to be on a swim team for years. Pretty good swimmer, by the way. But yeah, I used to get out of the pool, and my God, you'd have these like prune fingers. But you know what's strange about that? What would you think causes that? Like you'd think, okay, the water, it's in there, and it sort of dehydrates your hand and all that. But it has nothing to, the water causes it, but it's not for any reason that you would think. It's actually the coolness of it. Your body does it. It's sort of like a vestigial, the way my brother described it, like a vestigial effect that you're almost from like evolution, where when your hands are wet for a long enough period of time and cold, they wrinkle like that, and it actually creates better grip. Isn't that wild? It has absolutely nothing to do with like your hands are in water for a long time and the water did this to you physically. It's your own body doing it. Yeah, I said that, Darlene. Yeah, so you should look it up. It's pretty weird. Yeah, like apparently you can grip better when your fingers are like that underwater and so forth. It has nothing to do with the water, being waterlogged and all of a sudden you got the wrinkles in your fingers. No, you didn't beat me, Darlene. I said it way before you did. You might think so because you have a delay, but yeah, I said it way before that. That's why I said what I said, because when I said it, it popped up on the screen. Like 10 seconds later. Or not even that, like 20. Oh no, we weren't swimming today. I was looking at my hand, and my left hand had sort of that look to it. All my fingers on it, because they're numb, right? And it turns out, he said that was probably because it's your autonomic nervous system, that your nerves are being pinched off out to your hand. No, it wasn't the same time, though. So it was pinched and going out to the hand there, and it's causing issues with that same function. Isn't that wild? Like my left hand had prune fingers, and my right hand didn't, but the left hand is where the nerve problem is. And he was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me look that up. And he goes, well, by God, there are instances where people who have nerve problems have that exact same thing. Oh, well, thanks. I didn't wear my hat. I had it on today, so. Yeah, it was no water at all. I kept thinking, God, am I dehydrated or what? And so my right hand has it a little bit, but my left index finger was looked like a raisin. Okay, Darlene, we tied. Okay, well, I'll give it to you, Darlene. But why would you even say grip? Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a weird thing. The whole drive to Seattle, I kept looking at it and going, what's going on here? And what's weird is right now my left index finger doesn't have that for some reason. But my middle and... who gives a shit? It makes you wonder why maybe when you get older, and you know you get wrinkled hands, like they just have the their spinal issues, their nervous system isn't quite as good, and that's what's causing the wrinkled fingers, skin on their hands. Well, it is interesting, but I'm just wondering, I don't want to get too... Oh, man, there's Gray talking about his damn thing again. Thanks, Dottie-O. Look at that. A pile of poop with a smile on it. And look at, she said she gives a shit with a smiley face. Yeah, I had no idea. I always thought it was just the water, when you're swimming around and you're just sort of waterlogged and your skin just kind of gets loose and turns into a raisin. But it had absolutely nothing to do with that. The water does cause it in terms of it makes your hands cold and have a wet, I don't know, it's hard to explain. That's not the way you thought. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to move on to something else now. Well, let me get a Gatorade. My wife was pretty cute today because they said, hold on a second. The lady said you can have clear liquids, and I said, so I can have Gatorade, right? And she said, well, what? My wife said, well, what colors of Gatorade can he have? Can he have the? I said, what difference does it make? And because she thought it has to be clear, I mean, it is Gatorade is clear, right? Like I drink the purple one a lot. I guess you can have chicken broth too. Okay, that's right. Yeah, she was cute today too. Okay, if she probably heard that, she was cute today. What do you mean today? Hey, thanks, Jessica Schuba. Yeah, it tastes like grape bubble yum. There you go. You guys are... I bet this would work for Too Short. Let me see. I'm not definitely... Oh, I can't read the next part. I'm walking down the street and I had to stop, turned up the radio and dropped the top. Like something like that, right? But just slow it down to it matches the beat. Walking down the street and I had to stop the radio. Walking down the street and I had to stop, turned up the radio and dropped the top. It's too slow for some of the raps that I remember. You have to come up with its own thing with this one. It is a cool beat though. You gotta like it. Boom. Wow, that's unreal.
Yeah. Times and times and times and times. Bing ding ding.
What are you doing, Mary Lou?
Oh, hello. Just rapping.
Oh, you were just saying ding a ding ding.
I know, I'm just trying to figure out the beat. Jeez, you're so mean. Even when I'm just playing around, you're mean all the time. You're so mean.
Yeah, I won't be doing pain meds before surgery. What's cool though is my surgery's at 6 in the morning, so that'll be good. I don't have to worry about it. Just kind of get up, still be half asleep. Oh yeah, by the way, okay. Count the 100 to 99. Yeah. And by the way, for the people who just got here, I did do the COVID test today in Seattle. I don't know what the results are yet, but yeah, that isn't fun. You know, Trump was right on the money with that shit. It's not, you know, I was thinking, oh, come on. They stick it way, you know, down, not up, but down into your sinuses. Yeah, it's not pleasant. And then they twist it. Ah, God, it makes me want to. Just thinking about it makes me queasy, kind of. Put it down and they rotate it around and shit. Then they do it for 10 seconds on both sides. Hopefully they use sterile shit so they don't give sinus infections to everybody. Yeah, I had to have it. I wasn't sick or anything. I just had to get it because I'm getting surgery. Yeah, it didn't really hurt. It was just slightly stings, but it's just where it is. It just, things don't go there. You know? It's sort of like when you go swimming and the water goes up your nose the wrong way into the sinuses. It's just, ugh. It's weird. You're just out on the street, and there's a sidewalk, and then you stand there and you wait, and they have you sit in a chair, and the guy came out and went, okay, yeah, here we go. And I'm not sure what the tent was for, because I didn't go in this tent they had. Yeah, it's in and down. It's crazy. Yeah. Ugh. Makes me queasy. Well, I didn't have Gatorade for a colonoscopy. I had what's called Go Lightly, which was funny because I always told Molly Go Lightly, hey, do you know that you're named after a colonoscopy drink that you take? It's called Go Lightly. And you drink it, and basically you can't eat food, and you drink this liquid that tastes like... here's the thing, is the liquid that you're drinking tastes exactly like how you think battery acid would taste. Okay, that's what it tastes like. But you can add like Gatorade to it to make it flavor it or something. So yeah, you drink it down, and man, you just start like basically after a while your bowel movements is basically a faucet, right? And they basically have you do it until it's kind of a clear look to it. And then when you get to the hospital, your bowels are completely empty, and then they go in there and stick a camera up your ass and blow, and then use this air thing at the same time that inflate all of your intestines so they can go in and look around at the walls and so forth. What they don't tell you is when you're done, there's a lot of gas built up in your intestines. And literally, I think you could get on a bicycle without pedaling and ride home with the amount of times you're farting after that thing. Because they go in there and they just fill your entire intestines with air. Yeah, and the funny thing is you just laugh as you're farting. You know, you're like, ah, ha, ha. And there's all these people. So you're you're out in the look, you're out in the waiting room with everybody else because you're sort of done at this point. You know, so there's new people that just got there, okay? There's people that just got there and they're waiting their colonoscopies and they're not laughing. But you're still on the propofol and everything's funny and you're farting up a storm and it's just the greatest thing in the world. To you. Okay? And not even your family doesn't even laugh with you. They give you this weird look like, what the hell you doing? Okay, but it's just the way it is. All right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you want to go early or what. You can go whenever the hell you want. But I'm telling you, like, see, first you go in there, they get a little IV going, and you know, eventually they put something in there that makes you feel a little better or something. But it's so weird. I got wheeled into this room. I remember everything. I was sitting there, and they go, "Okay, Gray, we're about ready to begin. We're done." That's how it went. Gray, we're about ready to begin. We're done. I don't remember anything at all other than we're ready to begin. We're done. It was that quick in my brain, which is kind of scary because then you start wondering, is there an afterlife? Because there was nothing in that time frame. There wasn't any hovering over my body. There wasn't a dream of any kind. There wasn't a some sort of a thought or anything like that. It was literally ding ding. And there wasn't even a... That was... The ding ding I just did, there was too much time between the dings. Let's put it that way. It was just, we're ready to begin, we're done. Right. But the thing is how come I had no thoughts in my brain at that point? Yeah, I could have been in a portal. Yeah, I'm glad I'm making some of you guys laugh. Okay? That's kind of the intention, but I'm telling you the truth here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. You know what? Here's what I don't get. I don't understand why Michael Jackson liked propofol. Because there's nothing... It's not fun during it. It's, you know, was he just... I don't really understand what the hell he was doing with that shit. Yeah, and let me just clarify this. When I'm talking about that you fart a lot, it's more than you thought I meant when I said that. Okay, because you got a picture. They went in there and they put air throughout your entire large intestines. And I'm talking about way more air than you'd ever have if from eating broccoli, for example. Okay? I'm not even sure what you're talking about. But no, it doesn't have that. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, well, but the funny thing is it doesn't count. You don't have REM. I think you would die if your only sleep was from propofol, because it's not. You're not sleeping. You're not getting REM or any of that shit. There's no dreaming. There's nothing. It's just sort of. Then well, they didn't use it for me, KNS. They use whatever they, you can. Some people use Versed. I had propofol for a colonoscopy. So I don't know why you were using Versed. That's what they use for actual surgery too. Like general. I don't know if Versed can be a general anesthesia or not. But. Yeah, but you might think it was a nap, but your brain didn't know it was a nap because your brain wasn't doing what it normally do during sleep. So you're saying that propofol, you did dream, you just don't remember dreaming? I don't know, man. Seems like you had to remember something. I think it'd be a little embarrassing, though, if you had let's say an X-rated dream during your colonoscopy. You know? And you'd wake up and people would be like, whoa, 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 settle down. And then you'd say to yourself, but I didn't even remember anything. What's going on here? Okay, well then that's possible, what I just said, right? Right? What I just said is possible based on what you just said, right? I don't know. I have to look that up. I didn't remember anything. Well, they do say I was talking to them for a little bit of time. Yeah, wouldn't that be a crazy thing? What burned, Jesse? Which one are you talking about? Yeah, it was cool. Propofol was cool because it was just like ding ding. I didn't remember anything. They said my blood pressure got kind of low, and what happens to me when I have gas or something like that, sometimes it happens. I get like low blood pressure. Well, how could that drug doesn't make people burn or anything? Propofol, that doesn't do that, Jesse. So I'm not buying that. Yeah, that's how everybody gets it, though, Jesse. Everybody gets it through their IV. That's how they administer it. Yeah, I got up and I mean, they say I was just talking to him a lot and just asking the same questions over and over and over again. And I was like, what do you mean? This is the first time I've ever asked it. And then I ask a question. Yeah, that's the one. You've asked it 50 times already. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, Jesse, maybe you have like weird, different reaction. People can be allergic to something. I don't know what I was doing. It was 5 years ago, though. I wasn't even doing shows back then. No, it was when I was done. While I was sitting there waiting. Coming out of it. Well, it was just more like at the end when I was woke. You don't talk while you're under, but when they're waking you up, you were awake to them a lot longer than you thought you were awake. Is what I'm saying. So like you wake up and you're awake, you don't really realize it at that point, and then later you kind of come out of it, and then they say, well, you've been talking for a while. I guess it's in that time that you wouldn't want somebody asking you any questions you didn't want to answer. Yeah. Oh, I must have missed a, somebody sent a super chat up there. Zozo and, oh, thanks Cindy Lean up there, Leanne, or however you, I don't know how you pronounce that last name. But thank you very much. I missed that a minute ago. Must have been out of the room. Okay, I'm going to move on to something else. I don't really have much more to add about colonoscopies. There's only so much you can say about them, you know what I mean? We should have a show every Wednesday just on your experiences with colonoscopies. It'll be like True Crime Live, but just... forget it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Zodi. You didn't have a first sentence to even say that with. Thanks, Christina Kubacek. Well, you should go get one. If you're, well, you're not 50, but as soon as you turn 50, get a colonoscopy. No, we can't have operations now. Well, maybe. Yeah, I guess that could be kind of interesting. Has nothing to do with... Oh, you're doing one on... are you doing a colonoscopy on Monday? Hey, we'll be in there together. Different hospitals, different procedures, but... yeah, it's not that bad. It feels great. Like, well, I mean, the thing is, here's what they do. They just put the IV in. You know, that's about the only pain you feel. That doesn't hurt that much, though. And then they wheel you in there. You're about ready to get in. You're done. Hey! And then you're just sort of like, whoa, that's weird. And you sort of have a pleasant feeling as you come out of it. That's about it. But that's it. And if there's any polyps or anything, they take them out while they're when they're in there. Well, my surgery's Monday, and they're doing a foraminotomy, not ectomy, otomy. So I guess they go in. If there's any spurs, they don't think there's a lot of spurs though. They think that my disc though is bulging into that side, and they go in there and they actually scrape away part of the disc. And, you know, make the opening bigger again. They say almost everybody immediately goes, wow, the pain's gone, all that kind of stuff. You know, but there's pain with the, you know, having to move the muscle from the back of your neck and going in there. Yeah, the whole prep, drinking the Go Lightly stuff. Yeah, it's not fun. Well, I have to do 6 weeks of not bending my head much left or right or down, you know, just I'll just kind of keep wearing that little neck pillow thing, traction pillow. Yeah, my first one was they looked at my stomach and intestines at the same time. I just wasn't sure if they changed the scope. I never asked that question. And which one did they do first? I'd be okay if they checked my stomach out first, then, yeah, you know. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll probably be able to do a show tonight, maybe, and tomorrow, and then Sunday I'm going to take off, go up to Seattle. And you're the wind beneath my wings. Rotisserie. Oh, well, thanks. I hope so. Yeah. It's only an hour and a half long, which is pretty short for general anesthesia. They have to give you general anesthesia because you have to stay completely still when you're doing spine stuff. You know, they don't want you having any ability to think about moving around. He's going to come visit me at the hotel. How did that get... Oh, by Google. Yeah. So Reinhardt's comment got removed by Google. I wonder what that said. Yeah, I'll let everybody know. I might not be on for 2 days though. Probably Sunday night, Monday night. Maybe, you know. I might make a post on Monday. Thanks, Zozo.
Kim Flint, Shirley Hunt, and Jimmy Tidwell missing without a trace.
Yeah, in general, you're intubated.
Kim Flint, Shirley Hunt, and Jimmy Tidwell missing without a trace. No leads, no suspects, no idea as to where they may have disappeared to.
And while they're the focus of this next story, they represent just a small handful of the missing person cases in East Texas. CBS 19's Darcy Burden made her way to Rusk County, where the trio disappeared, and the search for each remains open.
You hear the stories, but you've basically become numb to them. Missing, no body, no suspects, and virtually no evidence. It's easy to let the details escape you. Blonde hair, brown eyes, no signs of a struggle, and the witness says they saw them talking to someone. East Texans vanishing into thin air. Yeah, it's easy to become numb to the story, unless you remember their faces, unless you can still hear their laughter, and unless you are the family members left wondering what happened.
She made it to that one spot and then disappeared.
I just hope someday I'll find out what happened.
Your people, your loved ones, don't just up and vanish.
These are the faces of the missing.
Most people will be shocked
without
at the number of people that are actually missing, active, open missing person cases in the East Texas area.
Searching through national and state databases,
thanks,
as well as collecting information from local authorities, CBS 19 discovered dozens of people that have vanished since 2004.
They were last seen at a certain date, at a certain time, at a certain location, and nobody's seen them since.
In Rusk County alone, there are 8 open missing persons cases, one of which is the case of Kim Flint.
We located her vehicle that was involved in a wreck, one vehicle wreck on a bridge.
She just wasn't there.
Rusk County Sheriff Jeff Price says his deputies have searched hundreds of acres multiple times to try and even find the slightest trace of her.
That area down there where she came up missing has been searched probably 20 times or more. Horseback to drones to helicopters to multiple sets of dogs, track dogs, bloodhounds, cadaver dogs, just every kind of type of a track dog that you can think of. Never came up with anything.
A witness believes he saw her talking to someone in a white pickup truck.
My mom's somewhere. Something happened to her.
We believe that she was picked up, and we don't know where she went at that point.
And she's not the only one. Shirley Hunt went for a walk in 2007 and never returned.
Saw her when they were getting off the school bus. And then she went on around the corner, and another man saw her. And that's the last anybody ever saw her.
It's something you think about every day.
Yep, never forget.
We actually had a helicopter out, tractors out, several canine units, and everybody tracked her back to a specific spot. And then at that one spot, we lost her.
Never to be seen again.
You never get over it. If you just find out what happened, you know, I think I could get over it, but like it is, it's just can't do it.
Like Kim Flint, they believe she got into an unknown person's car.
Which we're pretty much sure that she was picked up, but we have no idea by who or what happened to her after that point.
Jimmy Tidwell also disappeared in Rusk County.
Jimmy is my older brother, and he's 2 years older than me. He didn't just vanish willingly.
All that's known is he left work and never came back.
There was discrepancies in the stories of exactly what happened.
There have been multiple searches conducted over the years.
They did find his truck on the corner of 315 and Highway 95.
With no signs of foul play.
I'm still looking, I'm still waiting on answers.
We found his truck, we've never found him, so we have no clue what could have happened to him at that point.
Now, do you believe he's still alive?
No. No, I do not believe that at all, and I didn't believe it from the beginning.
For law enforcement, it can be difficult when people go missing.
It's not illegal to be missing.
Which means if there's no signs of foul play, they can't send anything off to be analyzed at a lab.
Regardless of how they lose their life, it's the not knowing because there's no closure.
So they re-canvass an area, talk to family, and reach out to possible witnesses in the years that follow.
When one of these cases gets to this point, every year, like on the anniversary date of her disappearance, we usually try to go back and revisit it.
You know, we've had several people in Rusk County that has disappeared. She's just one of several.
So it's been 7 long, hard years of not knowing what happened to my brother.
While we only went back about 15 years in our search, hundreds more have gone missing across Texas in that time frame. More than 1,000 people are missing in Texas at this time. There's a working list of the missing in East Texas on our website, cbs19.tv.
Yeah. So anyways, but it's weird that video seemed more general. Because down here, this article's about missing in East Texas. Lead develops in 22-year-old missing persons case of Jennifer Winkler. A lead is developed in a 22-year-old East Texas missing persons case. According to Henderson County Sheriff Bodie Hillhouse, a tip has come in, which officials hope to be promising regarding the case of Jennifer Louise Winkler. Hey, thanks, KNS. We are hoping it turns out to be a good lead, Sheriff Hillhouse told CBS 19. We still have legwork to do, but it sounds good right now. Winkler, then 41 years old, was last seen in May 1988, leaving the Casino Tropical nightclub on Highway 31 just west of Kilgore. Winkler was accompanied by 2 unidentified Hispanic men at the time. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. When she went missing, she was described as having blonde hair and blue eyes. Her ears were pierced, and she had a tattoo on her back. Winkler may also use the last names Barrier, Porter, and or Swistak. Winkler would be 63 years old today. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Free card.
Well, a small group of people in Longview made one last plea.
So I don't know what that, they didn't tell us what the lead was, but sounds promising. And here's another old one.
New at 11, an update on the unsolved murder of a Virginia Beach teenager. Friday marks 15 years since Shelley Carson was found beaten to death in her neighborhood. Police had their suspicions over the years, but still no arrest.
Her parents have passed away. They pleaded for answers for years. In an exclusive interview, 13 News Now anchor Dan Kennedy talks with the detective working to close in on a killer.
The Kings Grant traffic circle in Virginia Beach keeps busy with passing cars, just as it was 15 years ago when a driver made a gruesome discovery on the side of the road.
The crime scene was rather violent. There was the evidence of a sexual act attempting to be done. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head.
Cold case detective Kevin Finelli is describing the murder of 18-year-old Shelley Carson. 15 years later, the case is still open, and police are sharing new details about the investigation, including what was left at the scene and what was taken.
The pants were not at the scene. Things were taken. The crime scene itself was rather disorganized. There was a bicycle nearby that she was riding, discarded in the grass, and other things in the roadway, beer cans, cigarette butts, a rose, not necessarily things that were related directly to that case.
Investigators never found the missing pants. They collected what evidence they could, but it was never enough to tie any one person to the crime.
In the hours leading up to this incident, she had a pretty lengthy and involved argument with her close boyfriend, although that was allegedly resolved that night before it happened.
Detectives are revealing new information about who they interviewed, talking with more than 100 people for this case, including Shelley's boyfriend on 6 different occasions. From there, they narrowed their list of potential suspects.
As far as interviews of persons of interest, 7 to 9 people.
Finelli thinks they can narrow that list even more, knowing all it takes is one tip to close in on the killer.
Everybody has different theories, and everybody leans harder towards particular people. Yes, I think the list now is smaller than 9 people.
Today, a park bench sits by that Kings Grant traffic circle in memory of Shelley, stamped with the date she died. A reminder of another year with this case gone cold, and at the same time, a renewed hope that this year could be the last without an arrest. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.
Yeah, I want to check that boyfriend out again. I don't know if this is, I'm having a hard time figuring out if this one's related to it. No, it says Mary Rachel Carson, which is weird because it's in the same, what did they name, what was her name? Shelley Carson. No, it says right there. Wait. Virginia Beach shared newly released details of unsolved murder of Shelley Carson. And then down here it says Mary Rachel Carson, also known as Shelley. Yeah, Jesus. Well, of course it's. Let me look this up. Because there was one article on that, but now I think this will show up more. Okay, yeah, so. Okay, that's that same one from November. She went missing August. So is there anything? Let me try it. August 2005. No. 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 And there we go. That is one article here. So let's check this one out. I don't know, have you not seen Debbie for a while? I've seen her. I thought I've seen her recently. Let's see. This is her parents right here. Charlotte and Bill Carson look at one of the reward posters for information into the murder of their daughter, Mary Rachel Carson, a princess at Princess Anne High School in Virginia on Monday. The signs have been posted in earnest by Bill Carson. Retired teacher now seeks daughter's killer. Mary Rachel Carson had often passed through these doors, the Bow Creek Recreation Center where she and her father swam together, the Burger King restaurant on Rosemont Road where she worked to make a little cash, and the 7-Eleven. Let's see if we can find all this shit. Hold on. So this is in Virginia Beach. Okay, then we're going to go to Burger King. Just a second. Burger King restaurant on Rosemont. A lot of Burger Kings in Virginia Beach. Rosemont Road. Okay, I'm gonna do this one more, a different way. Okay, there was one right there. Is this Rosemont then? Okay. Okay, I bet this is it right here. That's Rosemont Road, and there's a Burger King. That's the only one. So is this? What's the address on that one? Yeah, they have it on Virginia Beach Boulevard, but I would bet you money that that's the one they're talking about. Okay, because I mean Rosemont, you go like this and you can turn into it, but the address is actually off of this. But I'm gonna say that this is the Burger King that she worked at right here. All right, doesn't that make sense? Okay, great. Okay, the Bow Creek Recreation Center. where she and her father swam together. So there's probably a pool inside there. Burger King restaurant where she worked to make a little cash, and the 7-Eleven on the fringe of her Kings Grant neighborhood. Okay, so now I'm going to look at her parents, Mary Rachel Carson, and let's see. Can you spell that right? Sorry if you guys are bored, I'm just looking it up. No, I'm not sorry. Shit. Okay, and then her husband's name. Oh,
New at
Jesus.
11, an update
Oh,
on the
God. That freaked me out. I'm just looking up their address really quick to see if... So Bill is her husband. Is he listed here? That might be it. I'm just looking on a different... No. Doesn't look like it. That one's not even in. So they said that their address was on the fringe of the Kings Grant neighborhood. So somewhere in here, put a pin there. And then 7-Eleven near. And I bet you that's it right there. That's 7-Eleven. Okay, so all the things mentioned right at the beginning are right there. Okay, cool. Now we'll go over this. Wow, thanks, Susanna McGillia Padre. Is that the cheetah again? Oh wait, hold on. Gotta flip it over here. Look at it. Oh! Whoa, I just got it in there. Yeah! Okay.
Here,
good.
kitty's at.
a cat on Xanax? Is that what you're doing here? Thank you. Wow, I got that up just in time to get the cat eye on there. Whew, almost missed it. Ding 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 ding. Okay, so here, let's go through this. Mary Rachel Carson had often passed through these doors, the Bow Creek Recreation Center, where she and her father swam together, the Burger King restaurant on Rosemont, where her daughter worked to make a little cash, and the 7-Eleven on the fringe of her King Grant neighborhood, where she tried to buy a pack of cigarettes the morning she died. Now the teenager's photo is taped to the electric doors and the glass windows of some of the places she used to spend time. Printed across the top in block letters is the word reward. The signs have been posted in earnest by Bill Carson, Mary Rachel's father. They are a painful reminder that 3 months after her daughter was killed, the case hasn't been solved. A retired school teacher runs the Professional Association of Teachers, but hunting for leads about his daughter's killer has become a full-time occupation. This is my #1 job now, said Carson, 64. Almost every minute of the time I think about this. With the no-nonsense efficiency of a man who spent 20 years on a submarine, Carson wakes up early each morning to email a Virginia Beach detective working on the case. Lieutenant Kevin Perry answers in a click. I never met someone as dedicated, Perry says. Then Carson heads out to find people who will help put up signs. He delivers them to firehouses, to high school principals. I mean, that's sort of like how Misty Watterson was doing it. Let's see. So let's get down to here's the information. Oh.
Happy birthday to Susanna Magnolia Bodrick. Happy birthday to Susanna Magnolia Bodrick. Happy birthday, dear Susanna Magnolia Bodrick. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. Yeah, those are pretty high notes for you to get there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Good job there, Mary Lou. Good job on that one. That's hard to say that name that quick, though. It's really long. Yeah. So here we go. We're getting to the part right here. The morning of August 14th, Carson and his wife, Charlotte Carson, were getting ready for 11 a.m. church services when they noticed that their 18-year-old daughter was not at home. To my ear, happy birthday? Not sure what that means. Cool. So your birthday too, Juju? To my ear, happy birthday cake. I don't get it. Oh, I see. I can't tell that says music. It looks like purple boxes. That must be girl code. That anybody would even know that was music. Oh, I guess there's a little tiny note there. What does that mean, in my driveway? Man, that's girl code again, everybody. Girl code again. Okay, so here, let me do the story part of it here. The morning of August 14th, Carson and his wife, Charlotte Carson, were getting ready for 11 a.m. church services when they noticed that their 18-year-old daughter was not at home. Maybe she was with her boyfriend, they thought. During the 3-minute drive to Kings Grant Presbyterian Church, they passed some barriers set up on Newcastle Road. near Kings Grant Road. They did not think much of it until they arrived at church and someone said the police had found a body at the traffic circle. Let's see if we can figure that out. Kings Grant Press, there it is. So it's probably going to be in this area, yeah, right there. And there seemed like there was this traffic circle right there. I don't know if you noticed that, but is there another one? That seems like the only traffic circle. There under a tree, Mary Rachel Carson had been found dead. The pink and black bicycle her mother had prodded her into riding for exercise lay nearby. Police said Rachel was killed between 4 and 6 a.m. She died of blunt force trauma to the head. Somebody just beat her, Carson said. The police did not want us to see her for identification, or let's see. Yeah, did not want us to see her for identification purposes because it would have been unbearable. In his grieving, Carson has found a sense of purpose. I'm not doing this for my own benefit, he said. I want the person who did this to be found. That was a tough proposition. The hundreds of tips called into the crime line have kept the two investigators busy. Let me, I bet you she might be on Google because 2005. Yeah, it's on Reddit right there. I try to avoid Reddit at all costs. Sometimes on this Find a Grave it says stuff. Police on Monday identified the woman who was found dead Sunday morning in Kings Grant as Mary Rachel Carson, 18, and classified her death as a homicide. The medical examiner determined that Carson, known to friends as Shelley, suffered trauma to her head, possibly causing her death. Authorities have not identified any suspects or possible motive. Carson's body was discovered under a tree near a pink and black bicycle close to the traffic circle off of Newcastle Road. Well, let's see if we got that right. And that's Newcastle, so she was found off of this. So that is the, I mean, it's the only circle that you can see from the sky, right? So she was found, her body was found somewhere around in this area. August 2006, a framed photo of Mary Shelley Carson whitewater rafting with her co-workers sat next to the Burger King register. It was a painful reminder. Let me see if I can find. Okay, this is on her right here. Let's see what we can get out of this. Maybe we can get locations and everything. At 73 years old, Bill Carson is a man who expects results. Well, let me try this again. I'm going to look up his name one more time on this website here. Bill Carson in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and he would be 78-ish. And I found one that's 79. And what was the wife's name again? Anybody remember what the wife... Well, let's see. Where was that? Mary. And let me see. Relatives. Yeah, it doesn't have that name, but I mean, come on. Bill Carson, 79, right around the right age. Living. Let's try this address here. Just to see. That doesn't seem right. No. I guess Bill Carson's pretty common, right? 79, 84, 60, 53, 49, 80. $75. Well, it's got to be the 79-year-old one up above. But let's just try one more of those addresses there. Maybe let's try that one. Ooh, now that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to think that this is it right here. Home. Okay, so that makes sense, doesn't it? Like you get there, you're driving to the church, and you would go right down this road, drive this way, go past this circle, and then go right to the King's Grant Presbyterian Church. Don't you think? I mean, it's literally a straight line. That has to be the right house, and it's in that neighborhood that they mentioned. Don't you think? Okay, so now we got that. And that's her right there. The Carson settled in the very middle class neighborhood of Kings. Hey, thanks. Summer was busy this time of year for the Carsons. It included camping trips across the country and trips to Spain and Italy. Little Shelley was natural athlete who loved to run and jump. The Carsons ensured that the children were well-rounded by exposing them to swimming and dance lessons for Shelley. Middle school for Shelley included field hockey, baseball, and soccer. Things started to change for Shelley when she's about 14 years old. She ran away from home twice, took off in the family car, and refused to cooperate with a psychiatrist and psychologist who were trying to help the family figure out what was wrong. She was a troubled child. It was a very unpleasant period of time, said Carson. This former commanding officer was losing control of the daughter who had brought so much joy to Bill and his wife, Charlotte. I mean, you know what's weird about kids? They can be so great. I mean, I haven't had kids, but I just know how it is. They can be so great up until a certain age, and then when the hormones start kicking in, they can just turn into completely different people. And a lot of times that's what leads to their demise. But had they just survived, they would have turned into a normal person later. But it was just the hormones messed them up during that time. Yeah, I mean, you always see it like a mom and her daughter are best friends, right? Until the girl turns about 15. And then all of a sudden she hates her mom because now the mom's keeping her from seeing that one guy that she just knows is the greatest, you know. Okay, things started to change for Shelley. She was about 14 years old. She ran away from home. Okay, down here. During the morning hours of August 14, 2005, Shelley was spotted riding her pink and black bicycle in the neighborhood. She was also captured on surveillance video at the nearby 7-Eleven store around 3:50 a.m. Okay, so she's over here at this 7-Eleven right here at 3:50 a.m. And I think that would be classified as nearby. I mean, let's see. Let's see how far it is from her house. Yeah, it's not even 2 miles. You know, it's almost like she was on her way back after being at 7-Eleven and biked. And then right at this circle here, she was attacked. And I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't attacked over in this area, because there aren't a lot of houses right there. And then this is actually just a little park in here. So maybe she was biking, attacked, and then brought in here and her body was left inside there. Well, I guess we'll find out here. She was riding her pink and black bicycle in the neighborhood. She also was captured on surveillance video at a nearby 7-Eleven store at 3:50. The next morning, the Carsons were concerned as Bill, Charlotte, and Drew headed for Sunday services at the King Grant Presbyterian Church. But you know, she's run away before, so they probably weren't as concerned as you might have been had it been a child who never did that. They were under the assumption that Shelley had spent the night with a boyfriend who lived nearby. The Carsons noticed a disturbance as they approached the traffic circle. My voice right there sounded like Peter Brady in the "And It's Time to Change" episode when his voice changed, so they had to write it into the script. Yeah. The next morning, the Carsons were concerned as Bill, Charlotte, and Drew headed for Sunday services, and then, like I just said, they thought she was at a boyfriend's house. Then the Carsons noticed a disturbance as they approached the traffic circle. It appeared crime scene tape had been erected around much of the traffic circle, and the place was crawling with cops. Once they arrived at church, a fellow member told the Carsons a body had been found at the traffic circle. Bill left Charlotte and Drew at church and drove back to the traffic circle where he spotted the crime scene. Inside the crime scene tape, the lead detective on the case, it says Brain Siebold, but I wouldn't be surprised if they meant to type Brian, carefully studied the remains, because I don't think many people have a first name of Brain, do you? Carefully studied the remains of a young female that were found under trees just off the traffic circle near the intersection of Newcastle and King Grants Road. Okay, let's see. I thought I just saw Newcastle. Wasn't this one? Yeah, that's King's Grant. So right here, near that area I was just telling you. Let me see that again. Just off the traffic circle near the intersection of Newcastle Street and King's Grant Road. Yeah, I mean, so is this still called Newcastle on this loop? Or they mean like right in this area? So I think, you know, it's kind of more over here. Pink and black bicycle was on the scene along with the pink... Okay. Traffic near the intersection of Newcastle Street and Kings Grant Road. So, was it right here, maybe? I'm kind of wondering what the name of this... Because maybe they chose one of the names of the street to continue the loop. And then you can go off. But it doesn't have a name for some reason. The loop. Maybe it's Newcastle Road, that's why, right? So this is probably Newcastle Road, and then this is the intersection they're talking about. That's what I'm going to guess. And maybe they put some flowers down or something. Okay. The killer may have used a blunt object as the murder weapon, and it appeared to be a case of overkill. The pink and black bicycle was on the scene, along with the pink tennis shoes the victim wore. While detectives surveyed the scene and canvassed the neighborhood, Bill told a uniformed officer Shelley was missing. The officer instructed Bill to return home to find a picture of Shelley. Concerned about the rapidly changing events, Charlotte and Drew returned home. Detective Siebold drove to the Carsons' nearby home, interviewed the family, viewed Shelley's picture, and asked about whether Shelley had pink tennis shoes. The answer was yes. A medical examiner would later confirm that 18-year-old Shelley Carson, the daughter of Bill and Charlotte Carson, died about 6 a.m. on August 14, 2005. The cause of death, blunt impact head trauma. Well, you know, I mean, the thing is, it sounds like if she did go over to her boyfriend's house, like the article seems to suggest, and they got in an argument, and then what are the odds that just on that bike home from the argument, some other person in sort of a kind of a secluded neighborhood kills her? Now, I don't, you know, they sort of seem to point out a little bit of that in the article, but you know, I think they should go back and reinvestigate that whole scenario and see what's going on again. So after we go over this, let's listen to the new article again one last time. Let's see. On Sunday morning at King's Grant Presbyterian, Bill Carson sits near the end of the church. He keeps a busy schedule as an elder in the church, member of the choir, and co-leader of peacemaking committee. For nearly 10 years, Bill Carson had had anything but peace. Shelley died on August 2005. Her mother died in February 2012 after a long battle with cancer. Before cancer weakened Charlotte, she repeatedly begged the police's help in solving the case. In the early days following Shelley's death, the Carsons were hopeful that justice would be swift. The killer would be caught, prosecuted, and locked up. Carson recalled a conversation with a detective shortly after the murder. Police told me they were going to have the case solved within the next 3 days. No. Over the years, the search for the killer had been exhaustive. Numerous interviews have been conducted. Police have taken DNA samples from several people to see if there is a match with evidence. Well, if you got evidence of DNA, then freaking do a DNA, Ancestry DNA, for God's sakes. A high-profile murder case from 1990 was solved recently with the use of new DNA technology, but the person who killed Shelley Carson is still out there. Using the leadership skills he employed in the Navy but see, this article here is before Ancestry DNA. I wonder if they're on to, thinking about using that. Carson also says he got a stern lecture from police in November 2006 when the family shared the autopsy report with the news. He was told the autopsy reveals information that only the killer knows, and public disclosure of information could pose problems for investigators. These were uncharted waters for the former commanding officer. He is still trying to picture out how to fix the vexing problem. Someone is getting away with murder, and he worries the killer will strike again. Carson believes there are 20 people.
Breaking in Virginia Beach tonight. Again, people just allowed back into their homes after police had to evacuate this neighborhood.
Hold on.
Police were called to Whitestone Way tonight for a suspicious package. This is off of Nemo Parkway near the Walmart. Police were there for about an hour before sounding.
People who still live in or near Kings Grant who have not been ruled out as the killer. He also believes there are several other people who have vital information that could be the missing links that are desperately needed to close the case. Bill Carson turned 74 years old this year and says he has total confidence in the police department's ability to solve the case. For now, someone continues to get away with it. That's it's mildly interesting. There isn't a ton of information, but it's got, you got it all mapped out well. She goes out. She's supposed to be hanging out with her boyfriend. She's seen over here at the 7-Eleven, actually on surveillance at 3:50. It appears it's possible. It'd be interesting to know what her boyfriend's name is and where he lived. And maybe she went over to his house, and then on her bike ride home, she was more than halfway home from at least the 7-Eleven, and then she's attacked right here just before arriving back home. She almost had made it, it looks like. So now after we just
at 11,
read that,
an update on the unsolved murder of a Virginia Beach teenager. Friday marks 15 years since Shelley Carson was found beaten to death in her neighborhood. Police had their suspicions over the years, but still no arrest.
Her parents have passed away. They pleaded for answers for years. In an exclusive interview, 13 News Now anchor Dan Kennedy talks with the detective working to close in on a killer.
The Kings Grant traffic circle in Virginia Beach keeps busy with passing cars, just as it was 15 years ago when a driver made a gruesome discovery on the side of the road.
The crime scene was rather violent. There was the evidence of a sexual act attempting to be done. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head.
Cold case detective Kevin Finelli is describing the murder of 18-year-old Shelley Carson. 15 years later, the case is still open, and police are sharing new details about the investigation, including what was left at the scene and what was taken.
The pants were not at the scene. Things were taken. The crime scene itself was rather disorganized. There was a bicycle nearby that she was riding, discarded in the grass, and other things in the roadway, beer cans, cigarette butts, a rose, not necessarily things that were related directly to that.
I'm wondering if that's actually a blind for where her body was found. Let's see if we can use that, just that little information there, to look at something. I'm gonna go right over here. I think this is the area, actually. See this fence? That's what I was looking for. Watch. See that fence right there? Can you guys see that? Look at right there. And so now we're seeing that, and we're seeing this big tree, and I'm wondering if we're just going to be able to see that here in a second. Yeah, let's see. I know that's the fence because that's exactly where they were saying it was. So there's probably a big tree that, given, you know, if we could look at this at the right time of year, I think she was found right in there. That's what I think. Right in exactly where we were saying, you know, right near this area where you're kind of, there's not a lot of people there, and right where I have the pin already. So I'm thinking if we're just going to go down here and just kind of look at it. There's no there isn't a big tree there, but there is one right there. And let's just take a look at that one more time. And I don't know if that's it for sure. There's this, you know, let me just try that.
That case.
Investigators never found the missing pants. They collected what evidence.
Necessarily, crime scene itself was rather disorganized. There was a bicycle nearby that she was riding, discarded in the grass, and other things in the roadway, beer cans, cigarette butts, a rose, not necessarily things that were related directly to that case.
Investigators never found the missing pants. They collected what evidence they could, but it was never enough to tie any one person to the crime.
In the hours leading up to this incident, she had a pretty lengthy and involved argument with her close boyfriend, although that was allegedly resolved that night before it happened.
But who said that? Him?
Detectives are revealing new information about who they interviewed, talking with more than 100 people for this case, including Shelley's boyfriend on 6 different occasions. From there, they narrowed their list of potential suspects.
And it's still, that fence is still right there.
Interviews of persons of interest, seven
still
to
right
9
there.
people.
Finelli thinks they can narrow that list even more, knowing all it takes is one tip to close in on the killer.
Everybody has different theories, and everybody leans harder towards particular people. Yes, I think the list now is smaller than 9 people.
Today, a park bench sits by that Kings Grant traffic circle in memory of Shelley, stamped with the date she died. A reminder of another year with this case gone cold, and at the same time, a renewed hope that this year could be the last without an arrest. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.
Yeah. So, right in that area. Yeah, the boyfriend they need to take another look at. Unfortunately,
Breaking news in York County. We have just learned that one of the victims of a house fire.
I would say, unfortunately, his DNA, if it's not the right type, like fingernail scrapings, if it's not something like that, then his DNA could be totally totally explainable, right? She's 18, she's got a boyfriend. I mean, his DNA, you know, very possibly could be on her, even in a non-nefarious way, right? So they'd have to find it in a specific way, you know, like was his blood on her, was there scrapes under her fingernail, some, you know, like skin under her fingernail, something like that. So that part kind of sucks. But why not do genealogy on it? And maybe they do have that, what I was just saying. I mean, it's interesting that somebody admitted to having a fight, right? That means somebody could have broke up with somebody. Who knows, right? But they definitely need to go check that out. More. Sounds like they're a little bit, he was a little bit skeptical sounding. Do you hear how he said, well, apparently that was explained. Right, now if it turns out to be somebody that wasn't her boyfriend, then that is the killer, right? The boyfriend, though, his DNA is explainable and might not be the killer. Depending, like I said, on how the DNA was found. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't really have much more to cover tonight. I just thought I'd come home, fill you guys in on the day's stuff. You know, had a blood drawn. I had, just all the pre-op shit. And then Monday, we'll be doing the surgery in the morning. I'm a little nervous about it because I've never really had a general anesthesia surgery other than when I was a kid. I cut my leg falling on a beer bottle. I was like 8 years old, and I was swinging a little metal stick at a moth flying around. And no, it doesn't make me a sociopath, okay? Little kids do that. And I fell on the ground, and then I got back up, and I kept doing it. And then I looked, and I went, whoa, wow. I looked down, and man, there was this cut in my left side calf that was like 5 inches long and 3 inches deep. I mean, it went all the way to the bone and cut all the nerves and everything. And then I just started hopping over to my mom's house. Then she put me in the car with somebody else. Somebody wrapped my leg up, and then we drove like 90 miles an hour to try to get a cop escort, but it didn't work. And went over to Emmanuel Hospital. We lived in North Portland at the time. And then I remember going there, and then they gave me syrup of Ipecac really quick, barfed that up. They did some kind of x-ray thing. I remember that. And then they rushed me right into surgery, put a mask on my face, and I was like struggling to take it off. And then I was in a cast for like 6 months, seems like. And then when they took it off, my leg was really small, and it looked like Frankenstein with all these stitches on it. And my aunt almost like puked. But then, you know what's weird is I was never faster after that. Like when I would, whatever it was, I don't know what happened. I always told people I was bionic. You know, that was right when the $6 Million Man was out. Right around that time. So I'd say, I'm bionic. It was a little bit before that. But literally, I was so fast, it was crazy. I mean, it was, And I stayed fast through high school and everything, but then I just kind of played basketball instead of running. But I always told people I was the bionic man. Steve Austin, a man barely alive. We can rebuild him. That's the I sound, his bionic eye. Remember that? Yeah, Oscar Goldman, yeah. So, anyways, all right, everybody. That's it. Still sitting here, chilling out. There you go, the free carts, everybody. And thank you guys for the generous freak donations, keeping us on track. I'll probably get a little behind because I got 2 nights off. Well, somebody else would write it, but I would come up with some crazy thoughts, I guess. All right. Well, thank you, Zozo, Juju Positive, Cairo, Zozo, Swerves, Billy Bully Blue, Let's see. Christina Kubitschek. Sarita. Cairo. With his janitor comment about Chloe. Casey. Swerbs. Kit Kat. Zozo. Allison R. with the basically a what do you call it? Cat eye donation, but it was 1 penny short. Alifair M. Dadio Caspian Horses Rock. 2 times in a row there. Jessica Schubach. Cindy Lean. Zozo with a poop. Christina Kubitschek. Melissa Crone Carville. Zozo. KNS. Then Susanna Mac Yola Padre for her birthday donation to me. But listen, Mary Lou sang a rousing rendition of Happy Birthday. Juju Positive, Dadio Caspian Horses Rock. So thank you guys. So we had a little bit of levity tonight, a few stories here and there about farting after you get a colonoscopy. I know that's high on your list of things to talk about. And, you know, and then some actual new stories here. So maybe we can try to find, you know, maybe get a hold of the dad if he's still out there. See what he has to say. Yeah, I just got home at like 8:35 from, I drove 340 miles today, so. Hey, thanks, Ro. All right. I don't think pizza is so good. It's got so many calories, though. It's like, God dang. Like, oh boy, Zozo. Oh boy. Don't say that one too loud. All right, and just remember, everybody. I know a lot of you people in the chat. You people, how dare you say you? No, well, some of you are Democrats and are going to vote for Biden, right? I still like all of you, okay? I'm just, you know, telling you what I think. And that's the cool part about having a show. Even though if you don't want to hear it. But just don't hate me that I have a different opinion. Okay? And just realize, without a doubt, that Joe Biden does have dementia. Okay? There's no chance that he does. He's literally, if you go back, just for the hell of it, go back about 5 years, listen to his speech, how he talked, and it's worlds different. So there's something wrong with him, although he will probably, I'm actually not feeling that great this time. I wasn't last time either, but about this election. Because it just feels like the narrative has been completely turned around. Yeah. So there you go. But seriously, do yourself a favor. Go listen to what he sounded like 5 years ago. And then go listen to him now. Whew. Wow. No, they said that the dad was still alive, I thought. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, get Mike Rowe out there, and he would bring the entire country together. Yeah. Richard Watts for president, huh? If I could just make out what he was writing, I might agree. I don't know. Well, the dad was in the article. He was 73 years old, but they mentioned that his wife died in 2012, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So just know, like, if you're a Democrat, you're really just voting for Kamala. All right. So that's kind of what the deal is. Which, you know, I mean, if you know, here's the thing: is pre her running for office, a lot of the stuff I probably would have agreed with how she was. She was pretty strong, a law enforcement person. Kamala was, but now she's turned completely around. So who knows? You know, Here's what's weird. What's weird is I could right now make an ad of things that Kamala Harris said about Joe Biden in all of those interviews, and you'd wonder why in the hell Joe Biden would ever pick somebody like that. Because she just ripped him a new one. I mean, called him a racist, called him, believed the rape allegation against him, all kinds of stuff. So it's weird. You can just make this great ad and then have her saying it and then just play it and people go, oh, wow, that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, well, he did say he was going to pick a woman of color no matter what. Yeah, so I guess that's the box he checked off there. I mean, she's definitely, she's probably qualified because she's, I think she's a senator. Isn't that right? Yeah, like a senator and and she was a prosecutor. It's kind of surprising now because the far left doesn't like her at all. Yeah. Well, it's probably just, it's like a political choice to shore up a vote, Yeah, yeah. What Pamela said there is about right. Wasn't really, it was just, it's weird to see what Biden said is, I'm going to pick a woman of color, is absolutely opposite of what Martin Luther King would have said should be somebody's criteria. Right? Because then he's immediately throwing out everybody else. He didn't care about the content of anybody's character whatsoever. He just cared about a sort of the color of somebody's skin, or what gender they were. And then went with that. He was, no matter what, he was going to pick somebody in that, right? And obviously there's qualified people in that, but I'm saying it's weird to say something like that out loud. Because imagine somebody saying something similar, but not being sort of culturally, like if you said, I don't even want to say it, because like if you just said something totally opposite of that, like I'm going to pick somebody, a white female. Well, you'd sound like a racist saying that. Right? But it's weird. The whole thing is, it's just so bizarre, the things that the left sometimes gets away with doing. But if the right ever did anything similar to that, it would be spun in the most vicious way possible in the media. And that's the stuff that really bothers me the most, is the abject hypocrisy of the media. I think that's what I tell you guys all the time. Just watch it. You really see it a lot. Like if you go watch Mark Dice sometimes on YouTube, or Tucker Carlson, or probably, I think one of the smartest people on all the entire news is what the hell's his name? I can't even remember his name all of a sudden. Shit, let me come up with it. Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld. I think Greg Gutfeld, if he just did serious thoughts, like when you watch The Five sometimes, he is really a brilliant thinker and puts its clarity. And, he just gets too caught up. Like when he has his little weekend show where it's goofy, funny stuff, I'm just not really that into it. He's one of the smartest people that's out there and really understands it. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, I used to have a show called Red Eye that was pretty funny late at night. But he's a really quick thinker and very clear, and points out that hypocrisy that you see all the time. It's weird that people don't see the hypocrisy. It's almost like they don't think it's apocryphal because it's righteous, sort of. It's like a weird... Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. See, because the thing is, I watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and all that. And the truth is other than Fox News, I mean, like, the thing is there's people that are biased and all. Like, Hannity, he's biased. There's other people like that. But Fox News really is the fairest of all of them. Now, you probably don't think so because you've heard the whole faux news bullshit and all that. But, they actually will say stuff like, God, why would Trump try to agree with the conspiracy theory? They go after him sometimes when he says stupid shit, right? But that would never happen on MSNBC or CNN or ABC or any of that stuff. They would never do that. If it was Obama, like when he said there was 57 states, they're not going to play that clip once on their show because it makes them look bad. And they don't do that. The left is so much more in tune and cohesive than the right is, but the right does it the right way. Like, there can be some people that just don't agree, That's the thing. No, I haven't read that book. But there's hardly ever dissent on the left. They all stick together and battle it out. It's amazing. They just stick together and just... Yeah, the joy of hate, yeah. Yeah, you can't say stuff like that though, Ava. It's just so it's so incorrect. It's just yeah, it is. It's freaky. Because here's what's really scary is just the kid glove treatment of Biden and Kamala already. They're just the darlings of the... Oh, they're so great. And they will not do one thing wrong. They'll never be questioned. Well, they can't be questioned because they don't answer questions. But like I said before, when they were yelling out questions to Biden, he didn't answer any of them. And then the clown on MSNBC comes on and said, wow, he's so disciplined in not answering questions. It's just, oh, are you kidding? If Trump did that, you would have said, God, look at that. He wouldn't answer questions. He was scared to get... And I don't even care if you like Trump. Just realize that's going on and notice it, please. Question things, right? The word woke bugs me. Oh, the word woke, yeah. It's a bogus term. Okay. What it really means is you got to believe what we're telling you, or you'll be called all kinds of names. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And Trump digs his own hole a lot of the times. He tweets out, retweets shit that he shouldn't be tweeting. I think if he had never tweeted during this presidency, he'd have a different perception by the general public, even though even though the media, they would have had to look for a whole bunch of different things. It's his tweets that every day create these easy targets and make him look like an idiot. And some of the things he does is idiotic like that. It's so stupid to tweet some of the shit that he tweets out. Like, he could have this great day. Look at the great economic numbers. And then he'll retweet some garbage some idiot posted. And that's all anybody talks about. And he lost all of the good stuff that he did. It's amazing. You know? So I'm not, like, I can actually think clearly here, everybody. I understand why everybody doesn't like, the people who don't like Trump, why they don't like him. I think a lot of it is they don't like him because of what they're told by the media and the constant twisting of things that he says. But there's a lot of stuff that he literally says and does that are real that he just ends up looking, it just looks dumb. I mean, it's, God, what in the hell are you doing? You know? It's just, it's self-inflicting wounds. He's probably been, I'm not sure how you refer to it, the best or the worst person that's ever been in self-inflicting wounds. Like, I mean, literally, the timing of some of the shit he's done, it makes you just go, wow, are you kidding me? You had the greatest economic numbers in history. You just announced, you know, watch this. A vaccine will be announced. It'll be coming out in 3 weeks, he'll say. But in the same tweet, he'll retweet some idiot comment that somebody made, and nobody's going to be talking about that. Yeah. I mean, I totally see all those things. It's just, it's really. But here's the thing: is he's done some incredible things. Here's the reality: people just don't like him, and therefore every single thing that he's done is spun and looked at in a horrible way, right? Yeah, he's blunt, but he makes stupid comments in his bluntness. Okay, there's no reason for it. Especially in the tweets. Okay, the tweeting gets him in trouble. Yeah, I mean, you know. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't mind him at all. I get who he is. I get what he's doing. There's sometimes I cringe at, like, oh God, you did it again. You just stepped on your entire message. But I am not scared of him as being president or anything like that. Yeah. Well, you know what? Biden's really arrogant too, but right now he's pretending to be this really concerned sort of, oh, I'm just not Trump. Look at me. Pretending to cry at certain times. He's ridiculous, okay? God, remember when he yells, hey, this is a big effing deal, man. Oh, yeah. And all the little hugs he gives the women in the background and shit like that. They're all the same. You know, he's just playing a part right now. Right, he's playing the game, right. Right, yeah, that's right. He doesn't know how to play Trump doesn't know how to play the game for all of society. He basically, the things that he says that people that he thinks are really clever are all for his base, which is like 33% of society. It's stupid, you know. You gotta say, you know, you gotta try to be likable by everybody. You know, like, here's the thing, that's what Reagan had, right? Like, right now, Democrats hate all the stuff that Reagan did. You know, the lefty types. But they liked him. You know, it's like, they trusted Reagan. Like, he's gonna, you know, get us through whatever we're in right now. He's likable.
Gray Hughes for President 2020.
Well, you don't like
Georgia
Reagan,
for Vice.
Christina? Jesus, man. Yeah, he's not gonna. Even if he had a PR team, he's just gonna do what he wants to do. They could have a whole script for him, and then later in the day he's gonna change to do whatever. He's just gonna say something that's off script and. I don't know what that means, slingshot. I don't know what that means. That didn't make any sense. You gotta type a full sentence in. No, well, I'm just saying he goes off script. I don't think he seems dangerous at all. I think it's weird when people think he sounds dangerous. You know, you know, he's anti-war, all that stuff. He doesn't like to have crap out there in different countries. You know, I think it's just sort of this big thing that's perpetuated by sort of the left-leaning media that tries to spin this whole, oh God, it's so scary. He's gonna have the military come in and make sure he's elected, stays in office. He's gonna claim that the election was rigged. And well, I only see how he seems dangerous because of how he's spun on different channels. That's it. That's the thing. Yeah, well, I think he thinks that he has a better idea than some other people. Well, I mean, all presidents want to be a hero. The thing is, here's the thing. That's why I want somebody like Mike Rowe to be president. Okay? Because Mike Rowe doesn't want to be a hero. He's just a great person that has a great mind and is an articulate speaker. And somebody like that is who the entire country needs. Okay? But everybody who goes out and goes, ooh, I'm running for president. They're all arrogant people who want to be the hero. Every one of them. Okay? There isn't one that doesn't want to be one. They're almost all narcissist people. Now, if you got that's what I'm saying. Somebody needs to sort of go to a person like Mike Rowe and say, we'd like George Washington, for example, and say, hey, we want you to run for president. Even if you don't want to do it, we need somebody like you. That's who you want in there, not these clowns that are just in there all the time, over and over, just retreading through there. Yeah. Well, that's why I keep talking about a Mike Rowe type. He's just a good person all around. People would love him. Yeah, Biden, yeah, he is nuts. You're right. He can barely think. Yeah, Kanye, yeah. And see that when Kanye was running, they tried to make it look like it was Trump getting him to run to sort of siphon off some of the black vote. Instead of him just, that's what he wanted to do. Isn't that weird that people come up with stuff like that? Yeah. Yeah, that's just it. Right now, everything's so polarized. That's why, if you talk about stuff, unless you're like a normal person, we have some in here, we have Democrats and everybody. And, you know, I'm saying what I'm saying, and they're saying what they're saying, and, you know, we probably don't agree on some of this stuff, and we do agree on some of it, but we're still going to be friends. But a lot of people aren't like that. They're so entrenched in what they're saying, if you don't agree, then all of a sudden you're an enemy. Yeah, that comment that Biden made, how come that's not one of the most racist comments you've ever heard? If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That is one of the most ridiculous, pigeonholing comments that I've ever heard. Yet all of a sudden, that's okay to say. Let me just say this right now. If Trump said that exact same line, he would have been called a racist for a month and played in ads on every freaking show if he said that. But when Biden says it, it's okay. It's just crazy Uncle Joe, boy. He's okay. Well, go back in time and watch some of the comments that Biden's made. You can't work at a 7-Eleven and not have, he is ridiculous, okay? Now he couldn't even do one of those jokes, or whatever he calls them. He would start it off and then end it with something else, and people would be like, what are you talking about, man? So right now, we're in one of those weird situations where it's just not the greatest, the whole, I don't know. See, I would love Trump if he just didn't do a lot of the crap that he does. Because I always wanted to have somebody came in that wasn't in the establishment. It was just a businessman. I actually told people, I want Trump to run for president before he was even on The Apprentice doing any of that shit. I was like, man, look at this guy. Man, could you imagine him cutting deals with And it was weird because then years later he ran and he won. But now he acts sort of differently than he does that I thought he was going to act. Oh, really, Tracy? Jeez, doesn't that just suck? Jeez. People, man, I tell you. People are crazy. Yeah, but you might think that you changed somebody's mind, Jen. Because I've tried doing that before, and there's different topics, that I've done on here. And the thing is once you're off the air, they go, yeah, screw that. They just go right back to what they're doing. So you might have got people going, that's interesting, but they didn't change their mind. I just try to get people to see the truth, the hypocrisy, those kind of things, so that you might see things a little differently. And try to look at things fairer than you are currently. I've talked about the no-no topic of abortion on here before. Okay? But I do it in a way where I try to get you to think, and I'm not even telling you which one is right or wrong. I'm just trying to get you to think about the hypocrisy of that whole topic as well, right? And I always come up with I have a specific scenario that I bring up, and I always try to get people to avoid using the catch-all phrase of, well, it's just a woman's right to choose. I'm talking, you gotta view it in a different way than that. And that's it's always the catch-all phrase. It's how they get out of it, because the logic of what I bring up traps somebody. Then they jump back to that and get out of it. Yeah, it's a personal topic. Yeah. So here, I'm gonna actually throw out my scenario on that one. So here we go. So let's say Jane is pregnant. And she's walking down the street, and she's 4 months pregnant, 5 months pregnant, let's say. 4 months, let's say. Let's just say 4 months. And a mugger comes up to her and attacks her, steals the purse, but in doing so, he punched her in the stomach, didn't even know she was pregnant. and she loses the baby. Should the mugger get any charges greater than just the mugging? Should the death of the child be part of his punishment? And somebody that's really pro-choice should say no, he shouldn't. That's what their answer needs to be. Because that child wasn't a child at 4 months. It was just whatever you consider them to be. And therefore, the mugger who punched the girl in the stomach should only get the assault on her, and the child's death should mean absolutely nothing. Okay? That's what a pro-choice person's belief should be. Well, no, but here's the thing. If you're pro-choice, you can't believe that. Because, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this now. Here's the next question. So now that we've got all that, here we go. Now that you got all that, watch this. That same woman is walking down the street. She's pregnant, 4 months pregnant. And she walks into an abortion clinic and aborts that same 4-month baby. So how come all of a sudden the anger that was for the mugger killing it doesn't exist anymore? That lady, she aborted the 4 months pregnant child, but that's okay now. So how come there isn't the same outrage on that? If that life meant something, meaning the mugger got punished, so why doesn't it mean, oh, because she wanted it in the other scenario? Okay, so what you're saying is women are like God to the choice of keeping that child, right? That it just the mere fact of them wanting it makes it more of a life at 4 months, right? You see, this is where that weird logic stream goes in, then, right? Let me ask you this then. Let's say the same woman, was 4 months pregnant and she was walking to an abortion clinic to abort the child, but was mugged just before going into there and punched in the stomach, and the baby died. Should the mugger get any extra time, since the mother was going to kill the child at the same time too, just after that? And then, you know what the answer I always get? Well, she could have changed her mind. That's such a cop-out to say that. Right, so if the woman was going to go into an abortion clinic and was mugged just before going in, the mugger, should he get any extra time? And what would be a weird argument in court was, well, ma'am, weren't you going to abort the child anyways? Well, yes, I was. Okay, then he doesn't get any extra time. You wanted the child in another scenario. Okay, then we need to give him an extra 10 years in prison because see, it's weird, right? That's what I'm trying to get you to think a little bit about that. It's a weird, think about what we're really doing here on those kind of things. And I don't know where to land or anything like that, but they're just things that I've thought about, and I'm thinking, God, something doesn't seem quite right there. No, I just told you he knew that she wasn't pregnant. And even if he did, what difference would it have made on the scenario when she was going in to the abortion clinic? So here's what's kind of ironic about it, right? So the woman that was 4 months pregnant, and she's walking down the street, he didn't know she was pregnant, punched her in the stomach, grabbed her purse. Well, his death wasn't even intentional of the baby. But that same lady then walks up the stairs into the abortion clinic and intentionally kills the same child. So doesn't it make what she decided to do worse than what the mugger did, since the mugger didn't even know she was pregnant and just wanted to take the purse? See, those are the things. I know it's crazy logic, everybody, but you got to really think through that. Yeah. Yeah, that's great, Vicky. But what about the woman who intentionally took the life of that 4-month child in the other scenario that I just said. See, that's where it gets weird, right? See, how come he got to choose? I mean, he did it on accident. It's the same life, right? What makes the life more valuable merely because somebody wanted it? Yep, there you go, everybody. See, it's just something to think about. I'm not judging anybody or anything. I'm just letting you know the crazy scenarios. See, hey, small 11989, you missed the entire point of the entire conversation. I'm sorry. What a ridiculous, look at that crazy comment. What about if you were raped, Gray? Do you think it's okay then? We're not talking about any of that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's almost as like you weren't listening. See, that's what I can't stand, is when you're just talking about a logic argument about something and somebody throws out some bullshit thing that has nothing to do with it. Almost like, what do you call that? Shit, I can't remember. There's a term for that. Yeah, I think, like if somebody, well, okay, to go with your point that has nothing to do with what I was talking about, the whole rape and incest thing, you know, sure, I'm not against somebody not wanting to have that child, okay? But I think people need to make the decision not to have it within the first month, so it's not even close to forming or being viable or anything like that, you know? That's just my opinion. Like, you know, but if you have unprotected sex on purpose and then you're 4 months along, well, you've kind of already decided, and then you go, oh, well, I don't want it now. That's sort of weird at some point. There's got to be a certain point where if it's still viable, like, I don't know. I don't like the second or third trimester. Maybe first. Yeah, it's kind of a strange scenario that I'm talking about here. But I see what you're saying, Small, but I wasn't talking about what you're talking about. I just came up with a couple really narrow scenarios for you to think about and just try to be like, well, you know. Yeah. Right, exactly. That whole morning after pill, like if you got raped or you had incest or whatever, I'm sure you can go to a clinic and get that and just, you know, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, wow, you know. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was doing. I'm Edub 187 or however you say that. I don't have an answer here, but these are things that I've sat around and thought about, like, wow. So that's so weird. That in one scenario, it's really bad. Okay, yeah, let me throw this one out from the other side. See, I think this is weird. Right here, watch. When that same scenario, the person that's 4 months pregnant gets mugged by somebody, and then it makes the news, and it's a huge story. And everybody's like, oh my God. Oh, the guy should... Everybody reading the articles, everybody in society gets so angry about the mugger, who didn't even know she was pregnant, but his actions killed the pregnancy, or terminated it. But when you talk about a same lady that's 4 months pregnant, goes into an abortion clinic, that nobody cares at all. There isn't a feeling at all, but so let me ask you this. Is the feeling that people have for the life of the 4-month-old baby or for the mother who wanted that one? See, what's the societal's anguish? What is that over in that case? See, you get what I'm saying? I want to see if we can talk about that. Like when people, you know, when it's on social media, everybody jumps on, oh my God, this guy's an evil villain. He's the worst person in the world. He's a devil. He's this and that. But then the same person terminates the baby on purpose. It doesn't seem like there's any outrage. So it's all for the mother then. Okay, nobody cares about the life of the 4-month-old child. Okay, I see. I think more people should care about that maybe a little bit sometimes. So you think it's all for the mother because she wanted it. It wouldn't be for the child that got killed. I see. Okay. What? Yeah, but if the mugger punched the lady in the stomach but didn't know she was pregnant, because sometimes at 4 months you're not showing that much, and he punches her to take the purse. I mean, his death, the death of the child, isn't even intentional. Yeah, they do feel bad having one, but what about the child itself? Because everybody was. Yeah. Right. Anyways, those are just some thoughts. Totally un-PC conversation, right? Were you guys okay with that conversation? Right there. I'm just trying to throw out stuff like, God, there's things that just seem so hypocritical by society and everything. But at the same time, you know, it's understandable here and there. You know, it's just weird. It's a weird... I think that's why it's so difficult to talk about, because it's one of those polarizing topics, and that's why you have pro-life and pro-choice. You know, it's kind of weird to say, you know, the two different monikers there. But yeah, I don't mind the conversations. I see what a lot of you guys are saying too. Like somebody up there said that women feel bad having the abortion. You know. That's true. Sometimes it affects them for a long time because they always wonder what that kid... Especially, here's what I think really affects people. Like if you had an abortion when you're younger and then you have children later, I could imagine looking at your children now and thinking how wonderful they are and then going, man, I wonder what that other child might have been like or something, you know? And I could see that being something that you would think about later. So you might even have two sort of moments, or more than two, but like the original moment, and then a moment later in life when you realize it, right? Yeah. I like having conversations like this. I thought I'd give it I haven't talked about that for a long time, and I know a lot of you are newer, so I thought I'd just bring the same scenarios up again, because they always kind of, I get confused, you know, because it's almost like the desire to have the child trumps all this other stuff. And it's like, well, wow, how come? Like, what is... We already talked about Mike. Did you just show up here? Just like out of nowhere and just thought you'd throw in a scenario to try to look really cool to the... You know, we've already talked about all that. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. What if aliens abducted her? We don't know, Mike. Let's see. What does that mean? Thanks, small 11989. Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to throw out an argument, Mike, like, well, 4 months in, and if it was a result of that, a rape, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's just sort of trying to find a nuance to fit into your thing. I'm just saying what I was saying about a woman's 4 months pregnant, walking down the street, and gets mugged. The guy didn't know she was pregnant.
I'm
Should the guy well, thank you. Should the guy get extra time in prison for the death of the child, even though he didn't even know she was pregnant? And people that are pro-choice wouldn't consider that a life at that point. So should he get any extra time? And so logic thinking, pro-choice people should think that that's not a life, and therefore he should not get any extra time. That is the truth of what they should think. But a lot of them don't think that because they're actually conflicted internally. Okay? And so the other scenario is the woman is walking down the street and she's about to go to the abortion clinic with a 4-month-old baby inside of her, but is mugged, and the mugger kills the child. Should he get any extra punishment for that, since she was going to terminate it anyways? And the answer is, well, she could have changed her mind. Right. No, Mike, you're just coming up with stuff that you're just trying to find one little sort of an out for a story. Yeah, you know, the scenarios that I was giving. I gave you the scenarios that I want you to think about, not the one that you want me to think about. Yeah, that's where it all comes down to, right, Slingshot? When does it count? And the funny thing is science keeps pushing it back further and further, right? Like sometimes I think there's even been children born after 5 months or even less that have survived in the incubators. So, you know, I definitely think it should be in the first trimester if you have one at this point. I mean, you should at least be able to come up with the idea then, instead of at a point where they can feel pain, you know. But yeah, that's the, I mean, you know, what Mike's saying is exactly what, you know, you sort of inevitably come up with. You just, over time, you start wondering about when does it matter? You know, like these late-term abortions that people have, man, that's just hideous, really. Oh, cool, Pamela. Good for you. That's awesome. What does it mean if you were going to name it? I don't get it. Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, I always kind of want. I mean, I've wanted to have maybe a kid at some point, but I don't know. It's kind of too late now. But it's not something I'm like, oh God, I screwed up or. Oh, really? Reinhardt? Wow, that's crazy. Don't tell that story on the news because they wouldn't believe it. They would think you were a plant of some sort. Did you guys ever watch those inside sort of shows that they had on Project Veritas on that? You know what's weird? Those are real videos. I watched the entire unedited videos. And the thing is the media made it sound like, oh, because they got him, obtained the information illegally, therefore it's all bullshit. It wasn't at all. It was literally real stuff that was in there. Oh, thanks, Small. I always thought I'd be pretty good. I'd teach him some crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all that shit. It's real. It was actually real stuff that was in there. That was none. It wasn't doctored or bogus or anything. It was actually real. Like it's just weird how it was spun in the media. And it's funny how Planned Parenthood is now their hero, the one that they worship all these years. Margaret Sanger is now, they've taken her name off of there because she was actually a eugenics racist whack job. And everybody's known that all these years. And I know you can take me really seriously with this panda bear on my head, but they finally got rid of her. But you got to realize that's what the origins of it were. To abort black babies. That's what Planned Parenthood's original mission was. And that's disgusting. Yeah. Oh yeah? Awesome. Ta-da-ta-da-ta. Thanks, Zozo. Anyways, I think it's bedtime for me. Sorry to keep you guys on there a little bit longer, talking about the taboo topics, but why the hell not, right? All right, everybody. So thank you guys all for showing up tonight. And thank you for the super chats, keeping us on track. We've donated $10,600 this year so far, and hoping to keep on trucking at the end of the month. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having a like an adult conversation about some crazy stuff. It kind of makes you think about things sometimes a little differently, And it was cool that none of you typed in, well, it's a choice. It's a woman's right to choose. You literally talked about it the way I asked to talk about it, just in the logic sense of it. So I appreciate that. Why generous? Why not? Anyways, yeah. Anyways, I think it's so cool that you guys are always here hanging out, and I'll feel you guys when I'm doing my surgery. I'll think, okay, I'm gonna make it out of it. I mean, it sounds like it's pretty safe. I always hate the part at the end where they say, well, anesthesia it's dangerous 0.9% of the time, and I'm like, wow, so 1 out of 100. I don't know, man, if I would take that chance if I was throwing a rock, but I gotta get this done. Like, my fingers are all numb and shit, and I just gotta fix it. So, alright, everybody, thank you all for showing up tonight. Make sure that you, by the way, everybody in Seattle has a mask on. I didn't see one person walking around without a mask. Okay, so everybody, wear your masks. You know what they don't let you wear is the N95 mask with the filter in the front, because they said when you breathe out it still puts out the I just can't believe that. I can see there's a filter on that, so it's crazy. They won't even let you wear the N95 mask with a filter on it. So anyways, wear your masks, maintain social distancing, and wash your hands all the damn time. That really works. Well, thank you guys. I think I'll do good. I'm a little nervous, you know, but it's only an hour and a half long. I'm sure it'll be fine. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up tonight and talking about random shit. It was cool. All right. I understand all of you that don't like Trump. I think Biden's literally going nuts in front of our eyes. But, you know, there's an election coming up soon, and I guess we'll find out who people wanted. Somebody with dementia or Trump. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight. And as I always say, everybody, there you are. Until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a
crime dissector.
Plug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get
ya. Gonna stretch ya. If you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector. Here's my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector. Free connector. And I'm always gonna be a puppet.
Hey, Gray, Sharon says good luck.
Interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper for conjecture. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
All right.
Let's get right back to work.
Hey, Gray. Hey, thanks for talking about all those crazy topics.
I don't know, man. Those, a lot of times people don't like those kind of topics. They make them think about things they didn't really want to think about.
Well, I know, but they're still pretty interesting, you know? And who are you to be... Oh, wait. who are you to talk about those things? Even though I like the topics, why would I say something like that?
I don't know why you would say something like that.
Well, I was just thinking about how other people say, like, hey, Gray, who are you to be able to talk about that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Nice try, nice try. Okay, good night, Mary Lou.
Good night, John boy.
Those wackos. They can't even just have a night. They can't even have a night. Mary Lou and John boy. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight. And as I always say, be safe out there.